Welcome back to Mark's workshop. Finally getting back onto my 12 to 2K build. Don't know if I've gone over yet. Haven't even finished the car, obviously, but having issues with the fuel system. So the regulator was in there. Problem is we can't get it down under 9 psi at the moment, 9 to 10 psi. So I'm going back to my original regulator. Which I'll show you what I've done to get it. It was stuck at 15 plus, so turns out from what I can figure so far is it did not have enough return back to the tank, and so that's what we're doing at the moment. And have a quick look and I'll show you what I've done and what I've had to do and things like that. So obviously this is what we had on it, the PQY style. Now I'm sure if I use a low volume pump, like the Holly style or something like that, it would work, but maybe you can really see it in there. But I've had to drill that out. I've actually found a video on YouTube of a guy having the same dramas but on an EFI setup. So what I've had to do, pretty well following him, but the worst part was his diaphragm inside here was different than what my diaphragm is, so I can't drill out as big as what he did to get his down. So anyway, that hole was only 120 thou. It was tiny, 123 or something like that. I've drilled it out to 190 thou, which did drop the pressure from 15 psi down to 9 to 10 psi, so it did work. So there you go, you can see where I've drilled it. So that was good to actually figure that there was a restriction there. I did put a light spring in it. So this is the spring that comes with it for the what they say for carbureted. I have seen where people have been cutting turns out of the coil of the spring. So instead of cutting, I didn't want to cut it. I found a spring out of a Powerglide valve body that was just a little bit smaller in diameter, but it was very soft. So this one you can compress it, but you really got to put pressure. Whereas the other one you didn't have to compress it as bad, but it still would not lower the pressure any lower than 9 to 10 psi. So which puts it back to me as a restriction. So what I've done is this is the original one I bought off eBay. Now fittings in this do not fit in this. So that's metric, this is imperial. So what I've done is I've had an old pump. That fitting there was too long. That fitting is different size, but there was a fitting in here. And I did have some other little spare ones sitting around. So as you can see, -6 return. So it's actually going to go in that way. -6 return, -8. So that'll be the -8 in. That'll be the -8 to the fuel line, and hopefully now we can bring it down under the 9-10 psi. This is a different gauge than what come with the with that originally, because it was in small increments for EFI, so it didn't quite work. Yeah, so I've just robbed some stuff out of other pumps to get it. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it works. I'll put it on soon, and just setting for the sealant to dry a bit, and I'll put it on and fire it up and see how it goes. Hopefully it makes a difference, and I will get back and report how it is. All right, thank you. Okay, second part of my regulator, trying to bring my pressure down, fuel pressure down. So I put my original regulator in that I bought. Sorry if there's any noise in the background because it's raining here, obviously. Yeah, so here's the old fittings, as I said, that I found out of old shit. laying around. I've put this regulator on. It actually still runs the -6 return. Problem is, I still can't get it down under 8 to 9 psi, which I'll start it up in a second and show you. But it's actually going places. It's I had 80 jets in it from originally built it. I still got issue fueling wise, but I'll have to put the AFR gauge on it and finish off the exhaust so we can do that. I can't drive it because I don't have a throttle set up. There's the cable, throttle cable. So I'll be setting that up. We'll do that through the week so I can actually drive it. Put an AFR gauge on it, slowly try and drive it and tune it. This on top of that, that's only there just to block off because we're not using it how I originally had it set up. What it had originally, and I don't know anything about this turbo stuff, but I had everything running off this port. I just had T-pieces in it, and to try and bring regulator pressure down, heaps of searching, things like that. Not that it's really worked. It's worked in some ways, but it's only because I've opened up the return line. I've gone and put the line for the boost reference starts here, goes around here, and now it's actually under vacuum at idle, so it's under the butterflies. To be honest, does it really make a difference? I don't know. It does go down in pressure a little bit when you give it some revs, so maybe that's doing something. But yeah, so that's what I've done there. So regs on. I did actually change the spring again. So this, even though this is a -6, the outlet hole on this is it's like 8 millimeters round, whereas the hole on that other one was only like 3 millimeters. I drilled it out to about 5 millimeters, I think it was. I'm only guessing on the thickness, I can't remember. But it still wouldn't go under, as I said, 8 to 9 psi unless you start bringing the revs up. So maybe the fact that it has got vacuum under the butterflies now, it's working, you know. So, but I'll just turn the ignition on. I can start it. Don't know how I'm going to go with 2 hands on this, but so you can see it's got 7 on the gauge there now. So, sorry, let me turn this compressor off. Hold on 2 seconds. Sorry about that. So now, the good thing is it's, since we changed the pressure and got that down, it stopped flooding when you put the hat on, but it still was drawing a lot of fuel out of the booster, so I'm still going to have to tinker with the air bleeds and things like that. But to start it, I've gone from an 80, haven't changed the back yet, but we've gone from an 80 down to a 70, and it actually cleaned it up so much better. So just had way too much fuel going through it, but that's all going to change when it gets a tune and AFR gauge and things like that. So as I said, you know, it's going the right direction. I'll do the throttle and everything this week. As I said, I did cut down the regulator spring, which I'll show you. So for the pressure, I'm still actually keen to put this one back on and see how it goes, but this spring here, this is actually out of the red gauge which is in the car, and what I did was this spring here, I found another It's actually another spring out of a Powerglide, out of the valve body. I've cut that down because it's actually just it's a softer spring all round. So I've cut that down, but it still didn't make any difference. So so either maybe put a smaller fuel pump in it, or the next thing is we try a bigger return line. So this is the actual carbureted spring out of that one, because I did put another spring in that, so that didn't make any difference. Actually, that's the EFI spring out of it. It's like a valve spring really. Yeah, so got all these things. Another boost gauge in there to try, another fuel gauge if we need something. But yeah, so I still might see if we can run with this, try and sort something out. It's just an update. I haven't been on it for, it's like 3 weeks. I don't get time with work and things like that. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this little update. You know, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe and do whatever they all say. If you don't like what I'm doing, tell me. If you know I'm doing something wrong, please tell me that. I know nothing about turbos, and I think that's where I'm gonna struggle a bit, but we'll get around it, and yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, thanks for watching again, and on to the next episode, hopefully this week, and get it drivable. All right, thank you.